Hi, this video is what an American thinks about Sweden. I went to Sweden after I was in Finland and Norway. I was in Sweden, I don't know, like a week. I rode my bike from Trondheim to Stockholm and Stockholm to Copenhagen, and I was in Stockholm a couple days. Oh, the Swedes are very friendly. You know, I just did a video about the Norwegians, and I said the Norwegians were the friendliest. I don't think so. I think it's the Swedes who are actually the most outgoing to a foreigner. I talked to some bus driver. He's like, oh, yeah, what's it? I'll help you, this, that, yo, you know. And then I asked another bus driver. He's like, yeah, when's the bus leaving to Stockholm? Because I had to go there because my bike broke. He's like, oh, no, you stay with me. So I stayed with him, this old guy. He drove me, he actually drove me from his house to the bus station, did all the research for me about when it left, how much it was, and like, really friendly. His wife was really friendly. I was in Stockholm, and some dude walks up to me, and he's like, "Oh, what you doing? What, you bike tours? Oh, cool, man. Let's go in the library and show me, show me your YouTube pages and all this." And like, yeah, man, here's my number. If you ever back, I'll help you out, whatever. And like, yeah, all the time. The Swedes are just really. Oh, and then I was sitting down having a beer at some festival, and some old guy comes up to me. He's all talking to me like, well, I guess his wife used to be married to an American, but he's all like really interested in me, talking to me, and then they gave me this cologne, and really friendly people. They're fat though. They're fat and out of shape. That's the first thing I noticed when I went into Norway. When I crossed the border, I went and got some like buffet thing, and there's just some fat chick, and I was like, wow, first fat person I'd seen for a long time. And then as I progressed into Sweden and the cities and everything, everybody's fat. They're like Americans. They're like fatter than Americans. I don't know what their deal is. I guess the Norwegians are like the badass savage people, and the Swedes are like the really intelligent, studious, fat people. Sweden doesn't have mountains. Norway has all mountains, big ass mountains, hills. Sweden, all I saw was flats, lots of forests and stuff. But yeah, they have this guy, he showed me the oldest corporation in the world. It's this copper mine. And, so they have the oldest corporation in the world. They've got a lot of industry, the money that they have, because it's an expensive place. Not as expensive as Norway, but it's very expensive, a lot more expensive than America. Probably a little bit more expensive than Finland, or although along the same lines. But I don't know if they get their money from, like, fishing and oiling and oil like the Norwegians. They have a lot of good industry. Saab makes fighter jets or jets and cars, and they have Volvo, and I don't know. Finland has Nokia. I don't know what Norway does, but and they're perfect English, perfect, no accent. Except there's this one girl, 20-year-old girl or something, 25-year-old girl, out in some little town. And, I passed through. Couldn't speak any English, so some of them still can't speak English. So maybe I would have to say, based on that the Norwegians speak the least English out of all the Scandinavians, because I didn't meet any other Scandinavian who could speak English. At least No. I met some Finns who couldn't really speak. So I guess the Norwegians, first the Norwegians, then the Swedes, and then the Finns, as far as how good your English is. Or maybe first the Danes. The Danes are really good, but the land of Sweden, from what the land I described, but also looking at the map, it's just really flat. Lots of lakes, which is really beautiful. Not nearly as many as Finland, but yeah, lots of forests and beautiful terrain. And Stockholm is amazing. I guess like the third largest lake in Finland, which is quite large, where it connects with the sea, whatever sea that is, between Sweden and Finland, is where Stockholm is, and it's all these islands. Stockholm is built on all these islands, which is beautiful, because you've got boats everywhere, and bridges, and the main central historical center is on a very tiny island, the size of just a couple blocks. And it's got, really narrow cobblestone roads with tons of tourists, and the old palace there, and lots of pedestrian mall. I think more pedestrian areas in Stockholm than anywhere, although there are lots of places with lots of pedestrians. But yeah, maybe, because next to that central town, you go over central, historical center of Stockholm, and the tiny little island, you go across a bridge to another island, or maybe it was the mainland. Really long pedestrian mall, probably the longest I've ever done. Longest pedestrian street I've ever walked. It was like 10 blocks, or I don't know, 10 blocks or something like that, a lot. And then I go to the other island on the other side of that tiny little island, which is an island. And there was another pedestrian area, and it was all pedestrians. But there were cars allowed to drive on it, but there was no cars. It was kind of one of those deals, like, I guess maybe after 3 in the afternoon, it was all pedestrians, you know, and it's like, and then you turn around the corner and there's another place where there's all pedestrians and like bike paths. And oh, and Stockholm is big time biking city. Stockholm, Amsterdam, and Copenhagen were the really big time biking cities that I saw. Even though all over, you know, Northern Europe, they have bicycle paths everywhere, but those were the most bicycles probably Amsterdam and Denmark tied. Maybe Copenhagen, maybe Denmark even more than Amsterdam. I mean, there are bikes everywhere. And then Stockholm. But, yeah. So that's Sweden. Stockholm's very pretty. And they have a tower that you can go up and look at the whole city, the whole town, or the whole, city. And, so yeah, it had a more historical center than anywhere in Scandinavia. I didn't go to Oslo, but I heard it doesn't really have much. I went to Helsinki. There's really nothing in Helsinki. I should have included in this video, but I forgot. But there's really nothing in Helsinki of historical. They have like one old building, you know, but it's not like the central old ancient downtown historical center, like in Tallinn, Estonia, and Latvia, Vilnius, Lithuania does too, but Latvia, Riga, Latvia, but yeah, Stockholm has a great ancient historical center, you know, with pedestrian streets and the cobblestones and all that, tourists and everything, where Helsinki doesn't, and I don't think Oslo, but I didn't go there. But anyways, yeah, Sweden. You know, Sweden's kind of like a powerhouse. You know, people kind of like Scandinavia. It's like Sweden is, I think, maybe the most populated. Probably, I want to research that. But they had the big empire back until 1750. They had this big war with Russia, and they lost Estonia, but they owned Estonia and Finland. You know, they had that queen, what's her name, Catherine or whatever, who abdicated and went down to the Vatican with like hundreds of people, and ABBA, and who else, Roxette, you know, lots of music from there, and just a lot of powerful country. But when I was there, I was like, is this really like a big time country? Because it's like, it doesn't seem really populated, you know, hundreds of miles, but then it was just forests, you know. And then Stockholm was quite large, but although I didn't really experience it because I took a bus in and I took a train out, but it looked like Stockholm was pretty big. I want to look at the population of it, but looked huge. So yeah, Sweden was a cool place, definitely. Okay, so that's that. What an American thinks about Sweden.